You've been lied to. They told you that being understanding means accepting less than you deserve. That being patient means waiting while they prioritize everyone else. That being loyal means staying even when you're clearly not their first choice. And you believed it. Because you're good. Because you don't want to seem needy. Because you've convinced yourself that your turn will come if you just wait long enough. But here's what they didn't tell you. Every time you accept being someone's backup plan, you're teaching them that your worth is negotiable. Every time you stay available while they explore other options, you're showing them that your self-respect has a price, and it's cheaper than everyone else's. Every time you make excuses for why they only reach out when it's convenient for them, you're participating in your own devaluation. And the worst part, you already know. Deep down, you know you're not their first choice. You know they're keeping you around as insurance. You know that if something better came along, you'd be dropped without hesitation. But you're so terrified of being alone, so desperate to believe they'll eventually choose you, that you accept the crumbs and call it a relationship. Right now in your life, there's at least one person treating you like a second option. Maybe it's a romantic partner who only texts when their first choice is unavailable. Maybe it's a friend who only remembers you exist when they need something. Maybe it's a boss who passes you over for opportunities while giving them to people less qualified. And you're accepting it. You're smiling through it. You're making excuses for it because you think that's what good people do. But here's the brutal truth. Being good doesn't mean accepting less. Being understanding doesn't mean tolerating disrespect. Being patient doesn't mean waiting forever for people who will never choose you first. Your goodness is being used against you. Your patience is being exploited. Your loyalty is being taken for granted. And every day you accept being second, you're moving further away from the life you deserve. Think about the people in your life right now, the ones who claim to value you. Ask yourself this: when was the last time they chose you first? When was the last time they cancelled other plans to be with you? When was the last time you felt like a priority rather than a convenience? If you're struggling to answer, you already know the truth. Machiavelli understood 500 years ago in Renaissance Italy that power belongs to those who refuse to accept less than they deserve. He watched people waste their lives being loyal to those who were never loyal back. And he understood that self-respect isn't selfish. It's survival. That boundaries aren't cruel, they're necessary. That walking away from people who treat you like a backup plan isn't giving up. It's finally choosing yourself. This video will show you the 5 clear psychological signs that you're someone's second option. And more importantly, what to do about it before you waste any more of your precious life being someone's safety net. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose respect always. Machiavelli's understanding of self-worth. Machiavelli lived in Renaissance Italy, surrounded by alliances that shifted with convenience. He watched people give their loyalty to leaders who discarded them the moment someone more useful appeared. And he understood that the greatest tragedy wasn't being betrayed by enemies. It was accepting mistreatment from people who claimed to value you. He knew that those who accept being second options teach others exactly how little respect they require. And that lesson, once taught, is almost impossible to unlearn. 1. They only reach out when it's convenient for them. Let's start with something that's going to hurt but needs to be said. Look at your phone right now. Look at your last conversations with this person. Who initiates? Who reaches out? And most importantly, when do they reach out? If you're honest with yourself, you'll see a pattern. They contact you when they're bored, when their first choice is busy, when they need something, when everyone else has said no. But when you reach out, silence, delayed responses. I've been so busy excuses that somehow don't apply when they want something from you. Here's what's really happening. You're not a person to them. You're a resource. You're emotional insurance. You're the safety net they keep around just in case their real priorities fall through. And they've trained you to accept this by giving you just enough attention to keep you hoping, but never enough to make you feel chosen. Think about the last time they reached out. Was it to check on you? To see how you're doing? To spend quality time together? Or was it because they needed advice, needed validation, needed a favor, needed someone to listen to their problems? And when you needed them, were they there? Or were they suddenly too busy, too tired, too overwhelmed with the people who actually are their priorities? Ask yourself right now, would they cancel plans with someone else to be with you? Would they rearrange their schedule when you need them? Would they show up for you the way you consistently show up for them? If the answer makes your stomach drop, that's your intuition trying to protect you from what your heart doesn't want to admit. Machiavelli once said, "Men are so simple and obedient to present necessities that he who deceives will always find someone who will let himself be deceived." And you're letting yourself be deceived. You're accepting the lie that their convenience-based attention equals care. It doesn't. It equals using you when it serves them and ignoring you when it doesn't. Here's the pattern you need to recognize. They reach out when they need emotional support, but are nowhere when you need the same. They text when they're lonely, but go silent when you try to make plans. They show up when it's easy, but disappear when it requires effort. This isn't inconsistency. This isn't them being busy. This is them treating you like a second option and hoping you're too kind or too desperate to call them on it. Most people accept this pattern because they're afraid that setting boundaries will push the person away. But here's what you need to understand. Someone who only values you when it's convenient for them doesn't actually value you at all. They value what you provide. And the moment you stop providing it or demand reciprocity, you'll see exactly how replaceable you've always been to them. When someone treats you like a convenience rather than a priority, when they only reach out when everyone else is unavailable, when their attention comes and goes based entirely on their needs rather than mutual care, you're not in a relationship. You're in a one-sided arrangement where you give and they take whenever it suits them. Listen to that again. Let that sink in. If you have to question whether you're a priority, you're not. If you have to analyze their behavior to find signs they care, they don't. If their presence in your life is entirely dependent on their convenience, you're a second option at best. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. My boundaries protect me. 2. They keep you waiting. While prioritizing others, pay attention to this one because it's the most visible sign that you're being treated as a backup. Watch what they do, not what they say. They tell you they value you, that you're important, that they care. But their actions tell a completely different story. They make you wait. They cancel plans with you, but never with others. They're too busy for you, but somehow have time for everyone else. And you accept it because you've convinced yourself that understanding their busy schedule makes you a better person. Here's what's actually happening. They're showing you exactly where you rank in their priorities. And it's not first, it's not second. You're somewhere down the list of people they'll make time for after everyone else has been taken care of. And the worst part, they expect you to smile and accept it because you're understanding. Think about how long you wait for responses from them compared to how long other people wait. Think about how many times they've cancelled plans with you versus how many times they cancel with their actual priorities. Think about how often they're too tired to see you, but somehow energized enough for activities with others. This isn't coincidence. This is choice. They're choosing everyone else and hoping you'll keep accepting the leftovers. Ask yourself this. Do they post on social media, doing things with other people, while claiming they're too busy for you? Do they make time for new people in their life, while you're still waiting for the quality time they promised weeks ago? Do they have energy for everyone except you? These aren't signs of a busy person. These are signs of someone who's prioritizing everyone else and expecting you to wait patiently for whatever scraps of time remain. Machiavelli understood that the prince controls not the wise, but the obedient. And you're being obedient. You're accepting the excuse that they're just busy, when the reality is they're busy with everyone except you. You're tolerating being constantly rescheduled, put on hold, made to wait while they give their best time and energy to people they actually prioritize. Here's the pattern you need to see. Last-minute plans when their first choice falls through. Cancelled plans with you when something better comes along. Weeks of being too busy, followed by suddenly having time when they need something from you. Watching them post about doing things with others while you're still waiting for them to make time for you. This isn't someone who values you. This is someone who keeps you on the back burner. Most people accept this because they're afraid that demanding better treatment will make them seem high maintenance or needy. So, they wait. They understand. They accept whatever scraps of time are offered. And by doing this, they teach the other person that their time isn't valuable, that their presence is optional, that being a priority is too much to ask for. But here's what you need to understand. People make time for what they prioritize. Always. When someone wants to see you, when someone values you, when someone actually cares, they find the time. They don't make you wait weeks. They don't consistently cancel. They don't give their best time to everyone else and expect you to be grateful for leftovers. When you're constantly waiting, constantly being rescheduled, constantly watching them make time for everyone except you, constantly being told maybe next week while they're out with others, you're not being understanding. You're accepting being treated as less important than everyone else in their life. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I protect my energy. 3. They never invest in you the way you invest in them. Here's a question that will reveal everything. What have they sacrificed for you? What have they given up to be there for you? What effort have they put into the relationship that actually cost them something? Now compare that to what you've sacrificed, given up, and invested in them. If the imbalance makes you uncomfortable, that discomfort is your self-respect trying to wake you up. Here's what happens when you're someone's second option. You do all the work. You initiate. You plan. You adjust your schedule. You make the effort. You show up consistently. You invest emotionally, financially, with your time and energy. And them? They show up when it's convenient. They take what you offer. They accept your investment without reciprocating. They let you carry the entire weight of the relationship while contributing the bare minimum to keep you around. Think about the last time you asked them to do something for you that required effort. Did they do it? Did they show up? Did they make it happen? Or did they have excuses? And now, think about the last time they asked you for something. Did you drop everything? Did you rearrange your life? Did you make it happen no matter the inconvenience? The difference between those two scenarios is the difference between how much you value them versus how much they value you. Ask yourself, have they ever cancelled important plans to be there for you? Have they ever inconvenienced themselves for your benefit? Have they ever put your needs above their wants? If you're struggling to find examples, while you can easily list dozens of times you've done exactly that for them, you're not in a reciprocal relationship. You're being used by someone who's learned that you'll give everything while they give nothing. Machiavelli once said, "Good intentions are the most useful disguise for manipulation, and their good intentions don't mean anything if they're never backed by action. They intend to be there for you. They mean to make more effort. They want to invest more. But intentions without actions are just manipulation, a way to keep you giving while they keep taking. Here's the uncomfortable truth. When someone values you, they invest in you. They don't just take your investment. They sacrifice for you the way you sacrifice for them. They show up when it's inconvenient. They make effort even when it's hard. They prove through consistent action that you matter to them. Everything else is just words designed to keep you accepting one-sided investment. Most people keep investing in one-sided relationships because they believe that if they just give enough, just love enough, just sacrifice enough, eventually the other person will reciprocate. They won't. Someone who's comfortable taking everything you give while giving nothing back isn't going to suddenly change. They're going to keep taking as long as you keep giving. When you're doing all the emotional labor, all the planning, all the compromising, all the sacrificing, all the investing while they coast on your effort, you're not building a relationship. You're being exploited by someone who knows you'll keep giving no matter how little they give back. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose respect always. 4. You feel it in your gut, but keep ignoring it. Pay attention to this because it's the most important sign of all. You already know. Your gut knows. Your intuition has been screaming at you that something is wrong, that you're not valued, that you're being treated as less than you deserve. But you keep ignoring it. You keep rationalizing it. You keep making excuses for them. You keep convincing yourself that you're overthinking, being too sensitive, expecting too much. Here's what's really happening. Your body, your instincts, your deeper awareness can see what your heart doesn't want to admit. Every time they cancel, you feel it. Every time they prioritize someone else, you feel it. Every time they take without giving, you feel it. That sinking feeling in your stomach, that tightness in your chest, that voice in your head that whispers, "This isn't right." That's not anxiety. That's not insecurity. That's your self-preservation, trying to protect you from someone who doesn't value you. Think about how you feel after interacting with them. Do you feel valued, cherished, prioritized, or do you feel confused, anxious, like you're always trying to earn something that should be freely given? Do you feel energized by their presence or drained constantly trying to figure out where you stand? Your feelings are information, and if the information says I'm not valued here, it's probably accurate. Ask yourself, do you constantly question their feelings for you? Do you analyze their behavior looking for signs they care? Do you feel relief when they finally give you attention? Do you feel anxiety when they pull away? These emotional patterns aren't love. They're the result of being kept in psychological uncertainty by someone who knows that keeping you guessing keeps you chasing. Machiavelli understood that men are driven more by illusion than reason. And you're choosing the illusion that everything is fine over the reality that your gut keeps trying to show you. You're overriding your instincts with rationalizations. You're convincing yourself that the red flags are just misunderstandings. You're ignoring the pattern because acknowledging it would mean facing the truth that you're not valued. Here's the pattern you need to recognize. You feel anxious about the relationship but can't pinpoint why. You make excuses for their behavior that you'd never accept from yourself. You're constantly defending them to yourself or others. You feel like you're walking on eggshells or working hard to keep them interested. You feel relief when they show you attention rather than joy. All of these feelings are your gut telling you that you're not in a healthy dynamic. Most people ignore their gut because listening to it would require making difficult decisions. It's easier to rationalize, to wait, to hope things will change. But your gut doesn't lie. When it tells you you're not valued, when it tells you you're being taken for granted, when it tells you something is wrong, it's protecting you from wasting more of your life on someone who doesn't deserve it. Here's what you need to understand. You're not overthinking. You're not being too sensitive. You're not expecting too much. Your gut is giving you accurate information about how you're being treated. And every time you ignore that information to stay in a dynamic that devalues you, you're choosing their comfort over your own well-being. When you constantly feel anxious, undervalued, confused about where you stand, when you're always trying to earn what should be freely given, when your gut keeps telling you something is wrong but you keep silencing it, you're not being patient or understanding. You're ignoring the truth to avoid the pain of accepting that you're someone's second option. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. My boundaries protect me. 5. They get upset when you finally set boundaries. Here's the most revealing sign of all. Watch what happens when you finally try to protect yourself. When you finally say you deserve better. When you finally set a boundary about how you'll be treated. If they get defensive, if they make you feel guilty, if they turn it around on you, if they suddenly act like you're the problem for having standards, you've just discovered the truth. They never valued you. They valued your lack of boundaries. Here's what happens when you finally stand up for yourself with someone who's been treating you like a second option. They don't apologize and change their behavior. They get angry that you're no longer accepting mistreatment. They make you feel like you're being unreasonable for expecting reciprocity. They tell you you're too demanding, too needy, too high maintenance for expecting to be treated like a priority. And they do this because your boundary interrupted their convenient access to someone who asks for nothing while giving everything. Think about the last time you tried to express that you felt undervalued. Did they take accountability? Did they acknowledge your feelings? Did they make changes? Or did they get defensive? Did they make excuses? Did they turn it around to make you feel guilty for bringing it up. The way someone responds to your boundaries tells you everything about whether they value you or value your compliance. Ask yourself, are you afraid to express your needs because you know they'll make you feel bad for having them? Have you stopped bringing up issues because it always ends with you apologizing? Do you feel guilty for wanting to be treated better? If yes, you're not in a relationship with someone who respects you. You're in a dynamic with someone who's trained you to accept poor treatment without complaint. Machiavelli once said, "Injuries should be inflicted all at once, so that their ill savour, being less lasting, may give less offence." What he meant was that boundaries will offend people who benefit from you having none, and their offence, their anger at your standards, their defensiveness about your needs, their guilt-tripping when you finally protect yourself, is not proof that you're wrong. It's proof that your boundary was necessary. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Someone who genuinely values you celebrates your boundaries. They respect your standards. They want you to have self-respect because they care about your well-being. Someone who treats you like a second option punishes your boundaries because your standards threaten their convenient access to someone they can use without reciprocating. Most people back down when their boundaries are met with anger or guilt. They apologize for having needs. They lower their standards to avoid conflict. They accept being second to avoid being alone. And by doing this, they guarantee that nothing will ever change, that they'll continue being treated as less than they deserve for as long as they tolerate it. When you set a boundary and they respond with anger instead of understanding, with defensiveness instead of accountability, with guilt-tripping instead of changed behavior, they're showing you that they never respected you. They respected your compliance. And now that you're demanding respect, they're revealing exactly how little you've always mattered to them. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose respect always. The choice is yours, but choose quickly. So here's what you need to understand. Here's what you need to take away from this entire message. Being someone's second option is a choice you're making. Not consciously, not maliciously, but by accepting treatment that doesn't honor your worth, you're choosing to teach people that your value is negotiable, that your time is less important, that your presence is optional, that your needs are less valid. You've spent too long making yourself smaller to fit into someone else's convenience, too long accepting scraps and calling it connection, too long waiting for people who will never choose you first, too long ignoring your gut because listening to it would mean facing painful truths, too long allowing your goodness to be exploited by people who see it as weakness. Stop accepting convenience-based attention that disappears when you need it. Stop waiting while they prioritize everyone else. Stop investing in people who never invest back. Stop ignoring the gut feeling that's been trying to protect you. Stop lowering your standards when they refuse to meet them. Start demanding reciprocity in all your relationships. Start making your time as valuable as everyone else's. Start investing only in people who invest back. Start listening to your instincts when they tell you you're not valued. Start enforcing boundaries, even when it makes others uncomfortable. Machiavelli would remind you that self-respect is not selfishness, that boundaries are not cruelty, that walking away from people who treat you as optional is not giving up. It's finally choosing yourself. Those who truly value you will respect your standards. Those who only valued your compliance will leave. And that's exactly how you know your boundaries are working. The world doesn't need more good people who accept being second. The world needs strong people who refuse to be anyone's backup plan, who know their worth and refuse to negotiate it, who understand that being alone is better than being someone's convenient option. If you remember nothing else from this message, remember this: you teach people how to treat you. And every time you accept being a second option, you're teaching them that's all you require. Stop teaching that lesson. Start requiring what you deserve. If this video made you realize you've been accepting less than you deserve, hit that like button. Share it with someone who needs to hear that they're worth more than being someone's backup plan. And subscribe to this channel, because we're going to keep having these real conversations about boundaries, self-respect, and refusing to accept mistreatment. Now, I want you to drop this final affirmation in the comments. I am powerful and kind. Respect yourself first. Everything else follows. Now go be the person who chooses themselves. The world is waiting.